Hey everybody, I hope everybody's well. Today on the channel, I'm going to be reviewing the new album by Soen called Reliance. Well, where do I start? I guess I should start by saying I'm a Soen virgin. This is the first time I've actually sat down and listened to them. I've heard of them before, obviously, and I just have never delved into their stuff. So this is kind of my thoughts, my first impressions on the album. First thing I really liked and took note of is how immediately approachable Reliance is. The songs are compact, they rarely stretch beyond the 4 minutes. Choruses are big and clean and designed to stick in your head. The production is immaculate. Every drum hit, every vocal line sits exactly where it should. For a newcomer like myself, this makes the album easy to digest, but it also means the music can feel somewhat controlled. It's almost engineered for the emotional impact rather than staying with the originality. On this album, Soen blends modern metal with progressive touches, but the progressive part is more flavoring than substance, I would say. Riffs are muscular, but are rarely surprising or rarely something you haven't already heard. Rhythms are tight, but not adventurous at all. The emotional tone is very earnest, and it sometimes feels like it's more formulaic than anything. So if you're expecting the exploratory spirit of classic prog, you may find Reliance a bit restrained. At least I did. It's more about mood and melody than complexity. Now, I'm going to apologize if I screw his name up, but lead vocalist Joel Ekaloff is definitely the highlight of the album. He's got the most smooth, expressive, and is consistently compelling throughout the album. However, a couple of things. The lyrics are often broad, almost universal, to the point of vagueness. Another way of saying that, and I don't mean any disrespect, but the lyrics sound like they were written by a 15-year-old girl that is full of angst with the world and her present situation. So for a new listener, this can make the album feel cohesive or repetitive. It's going to be one or the other. After a few listens, I really noticed that Soen's members are undeniably skilled, especially drummer Martin Lopez. But I'm going to say this again, I think on Reliance, the band seems more interested in refinement than experimentation. And I gather just from what I've read and from other people that Soen was a force to be reckoned with back in the first couple of years of their existence, putting out some just experimental and great prog albums. And I think that's going to hurt them here. And I mean, of course, you're going to hear excellent execution. They've got that down pat. But like I said, they're not going to take many risks. And this is both a strength and a weakness. The album is consistently solid, but rarely thrilling and doesn't try to do anything new. Some other things I noticed about this album, and these are kind of more where the album stumbles. First is the predictable structures. You know, most songs follow that similar arc: soft intro, rising tension, big choruses, atmospheric bridge, and then back to the final chorus, which, I mean, it pays off and it works well for them, but I find it very predictable that way. Another thing I find is the limited dynamic range of this album. The emotional tone to it stays in a narrow band, which can make the album kind of blur together. I remember the first couple times I listened to it and wasn't really paying attention to what track it was. It all kind of sounded the same and blended in. So that to me is kind of a a thing where this album struggles as well. And one other thing I noticed, and this is probably the one that I really noticed and picked up on, and it feels like someone knows exactly what works for them and sticks to it. I didn't hear them kind of branching off into this or that. They have a formula and they're sticking with it. The album does have some strong melodies, and even if the structures are predictive, the hooks are undeniably effective. Production on this album is just gorgeous. This is a headphone-friendly album with a clean, modern sound, and I'll have to say, listening to it on headphones, it's one of the best sounding albums I've heard in a long time. So 2 thumbs up to that, and kudos for that. And the other great thing about this album is the emotional sincerity. Even when the lyrics are broad, they definitely feel genuine, and you can actually feel the emotive pull that it has on your conscience or your heart or whatever you want to call it. Reliance is a good album, but it's not great. But I think it's a good introduction, at least for me it was, to the band. If you enjoy polished metal, modern metal that is, emotional vocals, atmospheric heaviness, accessible songwriting, you'll find a lot to like here. But if you're hoping for adventurous prog, unexpected twists, and some bold experimentation, this album may feel a little safe to you. And as a final rating, I'm going to give this album a B+. Well deserved, and I look forward to going and checking out their back catalog. If you know where to start, let me know down below. And thanks for your time. Take care as always, and good night.